Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I will be sharing with you on how to use completing the square method to solve quadratic equations. All right, so we have some few examples. Let's quickly look at them. So here are the few examples we'll be looking at today. The first one is 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. The second question is 3x squared minus 7x minus 5 is equal to 0. And the final one is 4x squared plus 13x plus 2 equal 0. So I really believe that this example will make a lot of sense to you. So stay tuned and enjoy the lesson. So let's start with the first question. Question number 1. In this question, we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So the first thing we are going to do is looking at the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared is 2, is greater than 1. So what we are going to do in order to eliminate these two from here is to divide each term by 2. So let's divide each term by 2. So if we divide this by 2 and also divide negative 5 by 2, divide 3 by 2 and 0 by 2. So we are dividing each term by 2. Automatically, 2 divided by 2 is 1 and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that is out. So now we have just x squared minus 5 over 2 x minus 3 over 2 equal 0, because 0 divided by 2 is 0. So now let's first of all isolate x squared minus 5 over 2x. Let's keep that on the left side and try to eliminate negative 2 over 3. All right. So the first thing now is to subtract, or is to add, because we have this to be positive. This is positive. So if we add the same value to both sides, that will help to eliminate it from here. So let's add 3 over 2 to both sides. Add 3 over 2 to both sides. 3 over 2 to both sides. So when we do that, automatically this will cancel out. So now the equation becomes x squared minus 5 over 2x equal 0 plus 3 over 2, and that will still be 3 over 2. Good. So now the next step is to divide the coefficient of x by 2. The coefficient of x, as you can see, the coefficient of x is negative 5 over 2. So let's divide that by 2. If we do, then the equation becomes x squared minus 5 over 2x. So if we divide negative 5 over 2 by 2, that will become negative 5 over 4. So we are going to square that value and add it to both sides. So now this will become plus negative 5 over 4. So square this value, add it to both sides. So we have 3 over 2 plus negative 5 over 4 squared. So you see, the coefficient of x is negative 5 over 2. We divided that by 2, and that gave us negative 5 over 4. So we square that value and add it to both sides. As you can see now, negative 5 over 4 squared, negative 5 over 4 squared on both sides. So now let's focus on, so since we have x squared and negative 5 over 4 squared on the left side, we can isolate them by just writing, let's demarcate this. So let's isolate x and negative 5 over 4 over 2 5 over 4 squared. So we took both of them now. This is x squared. This is x squared. And this is negative 5 over 4, negative 5 over 4. So just bring both of them and put them in the same parenthesis and equate them to. So now we have 3 over 2. And if we square this value, this will become 25 over 16. So we have plus 25 over 16. All right. So because negative 5 squared will definitely give you a positive value. So we now have 3 over 2 plus 25 over 16. So at this point, let's try to add up. Let's add up 3 over 2 plus 25 over 16. And then when we do, we try to first of all get the common denominator by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 8. So we multiply this now, multiplied by 8. So this will be 8 times 3, 8 times 3 over uh, 8 times 2, 8 times 2. So multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 8. So plus 25 over 16. So 8 times 3 is 24. So that will be 24. And 8 times 2 is 16 over 16 plus 25 over 16. So now that we have a common denominator, all we have to do is to add up the numerator. And when we do, that will give us 49 over 16. So the equation becomes x minus 5 over 4 squared equal this. So now let's take the square root of both sides. If we take the square root of both sides, that will help to eliminate this square from here. So now this will become x negative 5 over 4 equal plus or minus the square root of 49 over 16. Square root of 49 over 16. And you know, the square root of 49 is 7 and the square root of 16 is 4. So this takes us to x minus 5 over 4 equal plus or minus 7 over 4. So next is to isolate x by adding negative 5 over 4 to both sides. So let's add negative 5 over 4 to both sides. So and when we do, so plus 5 over 4. So let's add 5 over 4 to both sides. Plus 5 over 4. So when you do, this will automatically cancel out because negative 5 over 4 plus 5 over 4 we cancel out. So now the equation becomes x is equal plus or minus 7 over 4. You know, we are adding 5 over 4 to it. So let's just write it in this format, 5 over 4. So in this case, we have plus or minus. So which are two different signs. So we are going to split this into two parts. First of all, taking the positive side of 7 over 4, and then after that, the negative side of 7 over 4. So x will become equal plus 7 over 4 plus 5 over 4, and the negative side is also negative 7 over 4 plus 5 over 4. So now we have a common denominator of 4, so all we just have to do is to add up the numerator, and that will be 12. That will be 12 over 4. So let's take it this way. So x now is equal 12 over 4, and if we calculate this, this is negative 7 plus 5. That gives us negative 2 over 4. So negative 2 over 4. So if we simplify this further, you discover that 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So finally, the answer becomes x equal 3 and negative 1/2. And this is now the final answer. I hope this example makes some sense. All right. So let's quickly look at the second example. All right, so number 2 question, we have 3x squared minus 7x minus 5 is equal 0. So in the same way, you can see that the coefficient of x squared is greater than 1. So let's divide each term by 3 in order to eliminate 3 from there. Divide each term by 3. Each term by 3. So when you do that, so 3 will cancel out. So now the equation becomes x squared negative 7 over 3x negative 5 over 3 is now equal 0. So at this point, we can, let's first of all eliminate negative 5 over 3 from here. So if we do that, we can, since it is a negative value, we can just add 5 over 3 to both sides, 5 over 3 to both sides, plus 5 over 3. And when you do that, so this will cancel out. So this will cancel out from here. So now we now have x squared negative 7 over 3x is equal 0 plus 5 over 3, and you know that's going to give us 5 over 3. So the second step is to divide the coefficient of x by 2, square it, and add to both sides. So the coefficient of x is negative 7 over 3. So if we divide that by 2, that's going to give us negative 7 over 6. So we are going to square that value and add it to both sides. So now, let's square it. So the equation becomes x squared negative 7 over 3x plus negative 7 over 3. So, you know, we need over 6, not 3. Over 6. And then we need to square this value. All right. So Now we need to square it and then equal 5 over 3 plus negative 7 over 6 squared. So now all we have to do is to isolate x squared and negative 7 over 6 squared. So bring both of them here. X negative 7 over 6. Just square them. These are the two values, x squared and negative 7 over 6. So just bring both of them together in the same parentheses and then square them, and that will be equal 5 over 3. So now negative 7 over 6 squared automatically will turn to positive. So this is now plus 49 over 36. Good. So now let's try and simplify the right side by adding up the 5 over 3 plus 49 over 36. So the common denominator would be, let's try to multiply each term of this first fraction, 5 over 3, by 12 in order to get the same denominator. So when we do, we multiply by 12. So this will be 12. 12 times 5 over 12 times 3. 12 times 3 plus 49 over 36. So 12 times 5, of course, is 60. And 12 times 3 is 36 plus 49 over 36. So now we have the same denominator. So all we just have to do is to um, add up the numerator. So, and when we do, we're going to have 109 over 36. So x negative 7 over 6 squared is equals to 109 over 36. So at this point, we're going to take the square root of both sides. All right, in order to eliminate this square from here, we take the square root of both sides. So that will be x is equals to x minus 7 over 6 is equals to plus or minus the square root of 109 over 36. So now, 36 is a perfect square, so this will be equals to plus or minus the square root of 109 over 6, because the square root of 36 is 6. So now we are going to, because this, we now have x minus 7 over 6 is equals to plus or minus the square root of 109 over 6. So now we are going to isolate x, okay, and to achieve that, we are going to add 7 over 6 to both sides. You know, this is negative 7 over 6. So to eliminate this from here, we are going to add 7 over 6 to both sides. So let's do that now. Plus 7 over 6 plus 7 over 6. So when you do that, automatically, this can now cancel out. So we are left with just x on the left side, and this is equal plus or minus the square root of 109 over 6 plus 7 over 6. So now we have both plus and negative sign here. So let's first of all consider the positive side of that. So x will be equals to um, the square root of 109 is 10.44. So this will be 10.44 approximately over 6 plus 7 over 6. And also considering the negative side, this will be negative 10.44 over 6 plus 7 over 6. Now we have a common denominator of 6. All we just have to do is to add up the numerator, and that is going to give us 17.44 over 6. And negative 10.44 plus 7, that's going to give us negative 3.44 over 6. So these are the two answers, which are x is equals to 17.44 over 6 or negative 3.44 over 6. I hope this question makes some sense. Hope it is clear to you. All right, so now let's quickly move on to question number 3. Please take note of this, negative 3.44 over 6. And yeah, so that is it for this question. So now we have question number 3, which is 4x squared plus 13x plus 2 equals 0. So you can also see that the coefficient of x squared is greater than 1. So we divide each term by 4. Divide each term by 4. Each term divided by 4. So now 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So right now we can now write this equation as x squared plus 13 over 4x plus 1 half is equals to 0, because 0 divided by 4 is 0. So now we can eliminate 1 half from here by subtracting 1 half from both sides. So 1 half subtract 1 half from both sides. Okay, so when that happens, this will cancel out from here. And now the equation becomes x squared plus 13 over 4x is equal 0 minus 1 over 1 half give us a negative 1 half. So next is to divide the coefficient of x by 2. The coefficient of x is plus 13 over 4. All right, so if we divide that by 2, then the answer, we are going to square that answer and add it to both sides. So that will give us x squared plus 13 over 4x. So if we divide 13 over 4 by 2, that will give us 13 over 8. And then now we are going to square that value. So 13 over 8. So just square it and, add it to both sides. So this is negative 1 half plus 13 over 8. So just square it, right? So now Uh, okay, so we can isolate x squared and 13 over 8. So this will give us x plus 13 over 8. So just square this, and this is equals to um, negative 1 half, plus 169. 13 squared is 169 over 8 squared is 64 over 64. So right now we can try to simplify the right hand side. So try to get the common denominator. So we are going to we're going to multiply the first fraction, both numerator and denominator, by 32 in order to have the common denominator. All right. So now if we multiply, this is negative 1. So negative 1 times 32, negative 1 times 32 over 2 times 32 plus 169 over 64. So negative 1 times 32 will give us negative 32, and 2 times 32 will give us 64 plus 169 over 64. So now, since we have the common denominator to be 64, all we have to do now is to subtract 32 from 164. So, and when we do, we're going to have 9 minus 2 is 7, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So that gives us 137 over 64. So now it means that x plus 13 over 8 squared is equals to 137 over 64. All right. So x plus 13 over 8 squared is equals to 137 over 64. So now we can take the square root of both sides just to eliminate this square from here. So that will become x plus 13 over 8 is equal plus or minus the square root of 137 over 64. And you know, 137 is not a perfect square, so we can keep the square root on 137, and the 64 is a perfect square, so that gives us 8. So the square root of 64 is 8. So now x plus 13 over 8 is equals to plus or minus the square root of 137. So now we can subtract 13 over 8 from both sides in order to isolate x. So now subtract 13 over 8 from both sides. 13 over 8. So automatically this will cancel out, and we now have just x on the left side. So x is now equal plus or minus the square root of 137 over 8 and negative 13 over 8. So now let's try and get the square root of 137. Square root of 137 So that gives us 11.04 and so on. So if we approximate that, it's going to give us plus or minus 11.7. 11.7 over 8 minus 13 over 8. So you can see that there are two signs here, plus or minus. So we are going to split this equation now into two parts. And that will be x is equals to, considering the positive part, this will be 11.7 over 8 minus 13 over 8. And also considering the negative side, that will be negative 11.7 over 8 minus 13 over 8. So now, since we have the same denominator, common denominator of 8 and 8, all we just have to do is to subtract 11.7 minus 13. What would that give us? 11.7 minus 13 will give us negative 1.3. So this is equals to negative 1.3 over 8. And 11.7 minus 13 on the other side, because we also have negative 7.7, negative 7 over 8 minus 13 over 8. So this will give us 24.7 negative 24.7 over 8. Let's just confirm that. Yes, 24.7 over 8. So we can leave your answer the way it is. You can also try change it to decimal. It doesn't matter, but I always like leaving my answer the same as it is right now. So I hope this lesson makes some sense to you. So if you find this video useful, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and also share my link with your friends. So thank you very much. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye bye.